everybody, it's your boy Jack here. Welcome to The Walking Dead Season 8, Episode 6 recap review and rant series I do here on the YouTube, because why not? Today I'm going to be talking about The Walking Dead Season 8, Episode 6, titled The King, the Widow, and the Rick. That is hard because I sometimes just get confused on saying it. Sometimes I go the King, the Rick, and the Widow, and like switch it all up. But I got it. First time. So yeah, let's dive into it here. I'm going to be talking about the review of this episode. Along with that, I'm going to be talking about I think is going to happen in the next week's episode. Along with that as well, I'm going to be talking about what I may think will happen in the mid-season finale. Just a little bit of a tidbit there. Obviously, we don't know a lot about what's going on. But yeah, let's dive into it. But before we do, if you've watched any of these episodes before, you know that every Sunday on my Instagram, which you can check out down below, I put out The Walking Dead, my favorite line from last week's episode, which would be this week's episode. But yeah, what I basically do is check my Instagram if you want to see my favorite line from this week's episode, which is the one I'm talking about right now. So yeah, obviously last week's was this one right here. I really like this line, said by Negan, obviously in order to support the Sanctuary people and everything. I already have my line picked out for next week, and if you want to see that on Sunday, you can check it out there. Along with that, if you want to check out, my favorite line from that episode, from this week's episode, you can check it out on my Instagram on Sunday. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this far. Let's dive into the review. So firstly, Rick, obviously, we'll start with him. He tries to talk to the Scavengers, the Heapsters, whatever we're going to call them. They don't really, I think that's the one thing I'll say about that group. They don't have an official name. Oceanside's pretty obviously right beside an ocean. But the Scavengers, it's like, I can get why they would be called that. It makes rational sense, but it's like, you got the Heapsters, you got the trash people, you got the this, you got the that, and it's like, I think they don't really have a clear dominant name in their group in order to justify the ways that it means. But one thing I'm hoping with them is that they sort of go turn into the Whisperers, which is like a big thing that will probably happen in maybe Season 9 or Season 10. I'm not sure yet. But overall, though, the Scavengers are really interesting. Obviously, Rick goes and talks to them and is like, yo, let's negotiate peace here. Obviously, the war against Negan is failing and falling. We've already attacked their outpost. We've already attacked the Sanctuary, pinned the walkers against the Sanctuary. And yeah, Negan's basically, we're trapping him in the Sanctuary as he gets more and more cabin fever and is trying to be more, and is, like his people turn against him. So yeah, that's what he was trying to say. That's what he's trying to convince. But yeah, that's basically what happened. I'm losing my voice right now. So yeah, overall though, that's basically what happens there. And then, obviously, once again, like they've done before, the Scavengers are like, I ain't buying what you're selling. I'm gonna lock you up in our fake prisons that we have, because why not? So yeah, obviously that's a smart decision, like, a rational decision. It's been done before, and it's like, Rick, oh, I have backup. Where is that backup at? I got that backup. Nobody's coming. So yeah, like, just seems stupid. Like, I get talking to them and like talking to the trash people, but it's like, why don't you do that and have backup? Because obviously, although these trash people are weird, I don't think they have a lot of guns. Like, they're I don't remember them having a lot of guns, but I think it'd be really interesting to have a fight sequence in that kind of environment where you have like, in between different trash heaps and in between like different like areas and stuff. I think that'd be really interesting to have. But obviously that doesn't happen. I think this group is really interesting. I'm really hoping to see that whole group evolve, because I feel like that's something that'd be really interesting to see. Someone like Jada, see some like the people in that society evolve into a different group, or like change their mottos and everything as time goes on and as the war progresses. So yeah, that's the one thing I'll say about Rick and the Scavengers and everything. It's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen next episode, which I'll talk about a bit later. Overall, next we'll talk about the Widow. Miss Maggie Ree. I love her in this episode overall. I love how she's sort of being the governor and governing everything. Like that, thumbs up for that. But yeah, I liked how she sort of was like, let's be diplomatic about these prisoners of war. Let's not kill these people like Jesus has said. Let's bring them back. Let's create a new world. And as of right now, we'll give them a jail cell in order to make sure that they are not a danger to the hilltop and the hilltop's not a danger to them. Sort of building a barrier of peace. It's interesting that. I love that she did toss in Gregory's butt in there because it's like, damn right, that's how you do it. It's like, I understand that Gregory, like, it builds that portrayal aspect of it, but overall, I'm happy how she's done that. I'm happy that, like, it shows that maybe her as a leader has stepped up further than Gregory and is trying to do more for this group, and it shows that, like, overall, she's loyal to these people. She's not loyal to Negan. She's not loyal to anybody else but herself by tossing Gregory in there and by building this community. Overall, though, the one thing I'll say about Maggie is I'm wanting to see the actual people in the community and how they're functioning, how Enid would be functioning, or how maybe Aaron was functioning, like, and everything. That's one question I'd have is, in this war at the moment, how's the society of the hilltop functioning? Because obviously I sort of understand on how the kingdom's functioning, but we don't really get to see that maybe a bit with the hilltop. So yeah, that's my one question to have about that. Moving forward as well, let's talk about the kingdom. Obviously King Ezekiel was like being all depressed, and I understand he just lost basically 3/4 of his people, and the people that are left aren't really fighters or anything, and it is unfortunate, it is sad, and it's like, I understand the whole grieving process and why he would have that. It happened in the comics as well, and it's a beautiful scene to be had because it shows what King Ezekiel means to Carol. Obviously, Carol does put on a mask. She's put on many different masks throughout this whole series in order to mask different emotions and everything. I really do like how she said, like, I want you to, like, be, you need to motivate your people. You need to motivate them to move forward, to work, and, like, everything like that. I love that moment because it was just sort of beautiful. It was beautiful to highlight the relationship between both of them as well. So yeah, I really did like that, like the whole idea of motivating, trying to lead him into war again, which is obviously a scary process, but lead them forward in order to negotiate peace and build this new world even further. So yeah, I like that moment. I think it was a beautiful scene that Melissa McBride had, and I think she's a beautiful actress and can convey such beautiful scenes, and is my favorite character in the show as of right now. Moving forward, let's talk about Michonne and Rosita and Daryl and Terra. Obviously, those two pairings got a mashup and came together post killing the Savior's speaker truck, the big fat lady truck, quote unquote, because it had all the speakers on it. I like that. I really like that whole, like, warehouse scene. I think that would have been a really interesting scene because you have so many, like, knickknacks and stuff blocking the shelves that it works as a really good fight scene, and I like that whole moment. I like that Michonne and Rosita coming back and fighting. I love that Rosita's back because she is such a fighter, but I really want to see her more as a leader in the upcoming end of the series, and how she's gonna be in these upcoming moments in the series. So yeah, I'm excited. Love Rosita and how they've developed her. Along with that, Daryl and Terra, love them. I think they're really good characters. I actually like Daryl for once. If you check my last week's episode, I was like just not liking Daryl because he was being annoying and monopolizing these series once again. And I really do like how it's like he goes to Terra and is like, this is why I want to kill Negan. This is why. And like and he's like, well, like, I want you to come with me. I want you to kill him, like, as well. And like they have this whole moment where it's like they sort of realize they have common interests in wanting to hunt down Negan and wanting to kill him because they killed Denise and they killed Glenn. They tortured Daryl and everything in the Savior way of life. So I really did like that scene overall. I think it was really good and interesting to be had. So yeah, I think this pairing overall is really interesting because you obviously have Michonne and Rosita, two clear people that have been wanting to get into this war, and really motivated Rick to get into this war, and Rosita herself really wanting to start fighting against the Saviors. Along with that, you have Daryl and Terra, two people that have really been affected and personally by the Saviors. Obviously Daryl being tortured and Terra being her girlfriend dying, and I think that's just a really interesting matchup. I'm interested to see how this is going to happen and how this storyline is going to move forward. I'm not sure because they don't really give us a clear cause besides the fact that they really want to attack the sanctuary again. So yeah, lastly but not least, let's dive into Carl and Siddiq. This is my favorite storyline of this episode because it's just so heartwarming. I really like the fact that Carl goes in back and finds Siddiq, and it's the whole idea of may mercy prevail over my wrath. It's it's sort of ironic that the idea of mercy, Carl shows him mercy where it's and then the wrath sort of being towards his dad, and the whole idea of those two power dynamics is sort of interesting to be said. And I like how Carl asks him the questions and stuff. It's hey, can we bring you in this community? Can you function as a human being? And I love the whole story that Siddiq has where it's okay, the main reasons why I kill walkers, 237 walkers, is the fact that because of the 237 walkers, I release these souls, and that's what my mom believed. And I think that was a really beautiful, personable moment to be had because obviously Carl did lose his mom as well, and his mom always told him to do something good and be good for other people, and I think that was just a really great moment to be had because of that. And there's such a great moment there personally between these two characters, and it's just really a beautiful moment. And I'm really happy to see how they're going to develop Siddiq as a character in the upcoming second half. Yeah, that's my review of this episode. Let me know what you think about it down below in the comments. Along with that as well, let's dive into part 2 here, the predictions. What I feel probably is going to happen in this episode is it's going to be a savior-focused episode. We're going to see Negan and his perspective between Dwight and Eugene, and how he's going to try to find out the people who have betrayed him, or the person who has betrayed him. And it's going to be interesting to see how, if Dwight can cover his butt in order to kick Eugene under the bus that is called Lucille, but yeah, it's interesting to see how that's going to happen. I'm really excited to see this new savior perspective, obviously, with the cabin fever, being in the sanctuary and everything, and obviously Negan being a leader. It's going to be interesting to see how this sort of dynamic will happen. Moving forward as well, it's going to be interesting to see how, who ends up being found as a traitor, and how that gets sort of outputted and everything. Yeah, overall I'm really excited about this episode, and the different perspectives and how savior focused it's going to be, because I love Negan. I think he is on point. Jeffrey Dean Morgan, as I've said millions of times, he plays an awesome Negan, and I love it. Sorry, I'm really tired right now, if I haven't said that before, which I don't think I have. So I'm just trying to cruise through this, because why not? So yeah, I'm really excited to see that. Obviously saviors are really interesting in a group, in a perspective and everything, and I'm excited to see that. And I'm excited to see how Rick is going to interact with the trashy people, because obviously in the next episode we're going to see how he's going to interact with them, and whether or not diplomacy will work. I don't think it will. I think he's going to be used a lot more as a bargaining chip, and yeah, I'm just excited for that. I just don't think, the one thing I'll say is, I think the trash people are most likely going to go to Alexandria maybe, and be listen up, we have your leaders, surrender and stuff, because why not? And that could be a really interesting dramatic moment that may open up the whole idea of the fight on Alexandria, the battle for Alexandria, sort of in a way that happens in the comics, and that may sort of open it up and sort of begin that whole storyline in a way for that attack in the mid-season premiere, because I really do love this battle in the comics, and I hope that I get to see it on screen. So yeah, overall though, I'm excited to see that, what's going to happen and what's going to be done with the Scavengers as well. So yeah, and also I think maybe Negan and the Sanctuary people maybe like deuces to the zombie herd, and like may find a way to say goodbye to the zombie herd. And yeah, I think the only other way that the so yeah, I'm really excited about it. Thank you so much for watching. But before I finish, this mid-season finale will probably be insane. I hear it has an extended running time, which is awesome. Along with that as well, I'm excited to see how this episode will, episode 7, push this series further into the mid-season finale, because I think it's going to be really interesting. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I think it's going to be an awesome battle, awesome sequence. I'm excited to see. I think what's probably going to happen is either the zombie herd's going to be like deuces and going to go find another place to walk, or there's going to be there's going to be attack again on the Sanctuary, and I feel that'd be a really great moment to be had, because if this was a mid-season finale, like if that whole option of the re-attack on the Sanctuary was an option, I think it'd be really interesting to be had, because if it was like another re-attack where it was like maybe a lot more people are dying or something, and that, there was a whole attack sequence there, you start off the series, like this season 8, with the whole attack sequence on the Sanctuary, then you end it with the attack again on the Sanctuary, and I think that'd be a really interesting sequence to be had, just because it's like in storytelling, going back to the same place to have another battle would be really interesting. It's also going to be interesting what is going on with Father Gabriel. Obviously, he looks like he's still dying. Like he's looked like he's going to die. But yeah, it's going to be interesting if he's going to be brought back and how he's going to be brought back into this. If he's going to be brought back in this episode or the next episode. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. My name is Jack Skinner. You can like, comment, share, and subscribe, because that's what you want to do. Most likely, along with that, feel free to hit post notifications for that little bell icon so you know when this video and other videos like that come out. Thank you so much for watching. You have a great night along with that as well. If you want to subscribe, you can subscribe on this little bottom bar right here. Along with that as well, if you want to see my last episode of The Walking Dead, where I talk about episode 5, you can check it out down below here. I'll post it somewhere here. You can check it out. I'm sorry, I'm so bad with my lefts and my rights when it comes to this, but yeah, thank you so much for watching. My name's Jack Skinner. You have a good night and happy Walking Dead Sunday. So yeah, bye.